So this is Cooper, and what I've done here is got quite a lengthy video, but it's going through the whole process of what we did. Now, apologies, I'm doing a voiceover because the sound quality, it was a really blustery day, and on the camera there's just loads of wind noise and everything, so I'm just going to talk through. I'm going to try and leave some bits where you can obviously hear the dog. So on this session we went to a private field because Cooper's world is really shrunk down and he's too overstimulated. The owners are worried that his reactivity is through aggression, and you'll see how we process through, and we find out that clearly it's not. So here he was reacting to me, so I'm stood over there. He's met me before, but again from a distance he just barks and pulls and wants to get to you. And I'm going to tell you now that, you know, when he gets to you, he's the friendliest, most, you know, lovable dog. He just wants to get to you, but he just wants to bark. And he's 45 kilograms. He's only a youngster, you know. He's only a 1-year-old Doberman, but he's already huge, and it's you know, quite intimidating. So here I am stood off to the side. The owners are just bringing him in and then taking him away, bringing him in, taking him away, helping him regulate himself, because he really cannot, you know, self-regulate. He cannot bring himself back down, so we have to create some distance away and help him to learn. Obviously, I say a lot of this you'll see later on, some of the issues, and I'll kind of explain hopefully a little bit from there. But here you can see that he's coming in. We're giving him a lot of freedom. I'm not looking for perfection because there's so much hormonal activity that is driving some of this behavior. So trying to shape it so that he can come in and have that freedom. He wanders over to me. We get the owner to walk him away. He brings him back, take him away, bring him back, gets to sniff, take him away, you know. And ultimately we're going to use the reward of being with me as the reward for getting to me as calmly as possible. But our criteria at this moment is not particularly tight, so it's just a case of letting him move away, come in, and this time he gets a fuss. So we've worked through all that. So the first part of this exercise was to meet me, you know, in this area where it's normally just him and his owners, and get him to calm down. Then here you can see we've moved on, although it's quite far away, but we're doing a tail teaser session. We're just running off some energy, giving him some fun. Around this field there are bridle paths where horses go past and what have you. Obviously people with dogs, and so we're trying to build in some engagement and making sure that as those people go past, you know, we can hold his attention. The field was in a terrible state, as you can see. You know, it's a full welly day, it's muddy, it's boggy. I mean, Bliss was absolutely filthy when she came off here. So this was the first bit. Now you can see we've moved into, I've got Bliss out, Cooper's obviously in the field, and Bliss is here with me. I'm not sure if you can hear on the video. I'll try and leave some of the sound on and patch it in and what have you, but you'll be able to hear Cooper barking, getting sort of reactive. And again, we're using that same principle of creating that safe distance, moving him away, bringing him back, moving him away, bringing him back, but giving him a bit of freedom on the lead. The problem with the owner series is he's such a big, strong dog. The feel was terrible, so it was very easy for him to pull and get the owner moving. And I said to the owner, look, if he pulls too much, just drop the lead. Do not risk being pulled over. He can't get to Bliss. You know, the fence is there. We're using this the sort of car park area predominantly to start with, just so I can gauge. You know, I want to keep Bliss as safe as possible, make sure Bliss is comfortable. Here we then move on to Bliss being at the fence and Cooper around, but again we're trying to use areas where he can move away freely, but he can see Bliss even come in and sniff and then disengage away. So again, we're not trying to prevent access. We're just trying to say to him, look, you know, you need to try and regulate yourself a little bit. You know, you need to try and calm yourself down. And if you do calm yourself down, then the good things will happen. You'll get the things that you want. So as I say, you can see here, I'm walking Bliss away, moving her away, bringing her back. We walked up and down this fence. Obviously I've not included everything, but again you can start to see the process that we're getting Cooper just to hang about and exist in the same space with Bliss. Again, I'm not looking for them to necessarily sort of stay there for prolonged times. I'm lucky. I actually want him to kind of ignore, but that might be a little bit too much at this stage. So obviously I'm getting Bliss to move, jump into my arms, do various different things with Cooper around. Again, I'm looking for Cooper just to exist in the space without that degree of frustration, because his world is relatively small, you know, because of his behaviour, and it's you know, obviously the owners are worried because he's big, strong, and it looks scary when he's out and about. They can't really necessarily take him too many places, so the secure field is great, but it's trying to expand his world and trying to give him the exposure that is needed to deal with this. But again, you can see he's chosen to lie down so we can get those rewards in. Bliss is literally, as you can see there, oh God, did I just say literally? So you can see that, you know, there's just a couple of feet between them. Now at this point, obviously, I know that I'm more comfortable with what I'm going to do, obviously, as we progress through this session, or where I can take it to with Bliss, because I can ultimately from here assess the dog and go, look, you know, he's not a danger to Bliss. He's overexcitable, he's highly aroused, he's highly stimulated, he's a young adolescent, he's hormonal, and that is driving a lot of this behaviour. And that's why the owners have a decision to make in terms of, well, where do we go? You know, he's only one, but he is so driven by that hormonal activity that impacts upon the behaviour, and that's not necessarily a training issue. You know, that's a hormonal issue, that's an adolescent issue. So we have to have decisions and conversations about, we want to keep him with his bits for as long as possible to make sure that testosterone is giving him his bone growth and his confidence. But if we're getting really, really problematic behaviours from that sexual nature, then obviously we have to think about that. And it's, again, what is the lesser of two evils? Complex decisions that we need to think about carefully. We then move on to where I bring Bliss into the field, walking behind. Apologies again, filming is not particularly good. Just trying to keep an eye on everything. So I'm keeping an eye on Cooper's body language. Obviously, I'm giving Bliss some free rein so that if she feels worried by Cooper, she can choose to move away quite freely. I've not got her on a tight lead. I've not got her sort of tight into my side. That she can just choose to move off and be free and comfortable.
Well done. So what we're looking for him to do
so
is to pay
I'm
attention
probably going to turn the
with
volume
dog
down
down.
on the main video, but
So this is
obviously it's
step,
really
right? You
hard
see,
when
Bliss
we're
is
doing a
like, "Yeah, kind of, I
voiceover
wanna
in
go and
terms
say
of
hello to
what I
you."
might be
Bliss,
saying as well.
with me.
But
Blissy. Thank you.
I'll play it through and see what makes sense. But you can basically see what I'm doing here. I'm just keeping Bliss with me. We're walking behind. We're getting closer. We're walking away. We're creating some distance. We're walking away. Again, we're just trying to slow everything down.
We're coming in. He's sniffing
You
the
know,
ground. We're
obviously,
ready, Bliss?
you can see here that now we've gone to moving to a lot more freedom. We've jumped from being behind. Don't need to keep going on for that. But here we are where I'm going, let's create some movement. Let's create some arousal. At this point, I was comfortable. So I'd followed them around all the field. And here you can see, you know, Cooper is running after. Bliss is focused on a frisbee. You know, he's not pestering her. You know, Bliss is coming back to me. Bliss is comfortable. Cooper's looking, you know, he's interested in Bliss. Bliss is really only interested in a frisbee at this stage. So she's doing really, really, really well. And getting soaking wet and covered. And,
Good boy, Cooper.
you know, he even sort of runs past. And we're going to build on this at some point where we're going to start to look at trying to get disengagement from Bliss back to the handler. At this stage, that was never sort of going to happen. So it's like no criteria, just trying to expand Cooper's world, trying to build on that. Here you can see just a lovely shot, got it in slow motion of Cooper, just nice, soft, floppy body language, enjoying his life. So we gave him a really good opportunity. And then we came back after that. We were in the field for an hour or so, and then we said, well, okay, we could either end the session there, but then because some of his struggles are just getting him off the street, off the drive and walking him around, let's see what he can do. So passing dogs, but you can see here, look how interested he is, and I think I might leave this running because you'll probably hear me talking about this a little bit on this video, so I'll just leave that running.
So you can see that it's that sexual related behaviour, so we know what's driving some of this. So you can give yourself a break from what you think you might be doing wrong, when actually So again, he's gone into that lie down, he's bringing the back. Good boy. Good boy. It's good. Start spike, it's just I'll go. Okay. You do that, I'm going to move Bliss away. Brilliant.
Here we get Bliss being her spinny tarty girl. Enjoying the time with Cooper. So, you know, from all those initial stages where she was a little bit wary, she's kind of going, do you know what? And then again we move away,
So again,
just to see how he copes with that sort of frustration. We do a lot of leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back.
so again we wait for him to
Again, to just give him that exposure that things can pass by. And I did a lot of walking up and down the street, walking past the front, then coming in. So again, you can see here that when he chooses to lay down, then I'm bringing Bliss in. Again, yes, he's popping up and he's coming in, and Bliss being tarty again. But you know, it's just trying to build in that framework for him. And then this is obviously Cooper at the end of that session. He was absolutely done in. Did amazing, lots of process. We've got a lot to do and some really key decisions around the sexual hormones, etc.